Like, damn, nigga, I know I was tripping. Like, bro, I was acting like I didn't know what the hell you was talking about, and I knew damn well what the hell your ass was talking about.
And then, you know what
Had to
else
be.
that adds? What adds to that is the ones who be like you just said, be playing around jokingly, and then get mad when it gets to that point. It was like, dude, you knew that this was a possibility of an outcome.
Right.
You knew there
You
was a
already know.
possibility of an outcome. So when it happened, if it happened, don't get mad. Just chunk it up as okay. I did go too far.
Hmm.
I
Exactly.
did go. I went a little too far. I took it too long. I did
Even
it
though that
too
shit
long.
funny though, nigga. When
It
the
is
nigga
funny.
when the nigga immediately know he went too far, that shit funny. He say, ah, my bad, my
Exactly.
bad. Oh, my bad, nigga. I should have did that shit.
I do play too much.
I play too damn much, man. Why y'all niggas be letting me do that shit?
Okay. So all
Shorty, man.
getting back on track. That being said, is that again, I'm gonna listen to this flat earther talk so much certainty, and this nigga haven't done anything that he's talking about. This nigga is just spitting out fun facts. 'Cause that's what it sounds
Right.
like. You know what? How a religious person, if they just talk a whole bunch of words, it's kind of like in their head. If I just keep on talking and talking a whole bunch of stuff, and pointing to this scripture, and if I keep on talking just some more, whether it be about what I'm pointing at, but if I keep on talking, they'll eventually believe me just to shut up, just to shut me up.
Hmm.
Something like that. That's what he was doing. Just a bunch
Shit.
of fun facts about what he came across about the earth being flat.
Mm. Research being researched.
Yes, research being researched.
Yeah, that need to be what you call it. It need to be like stamped or copywritten some shit if it's not already.
What,
Research
research on
being research.
research?
Yeah. Like I tell you what you're doing, nigga. You're researching research. Nigga. Yeah. I'm gonna put that on the shirt. Y'all just researching research.
That's all they doing. That's all we doing.
That's all we'd ever do.
That's all we ever done throughout our
hmm
whole. If we wasn't doing the experiments that
I was about to say
that
that.
the class science class had to do back in the day when
hmm
we was in grade school, or I never been to college. Maybe college do it too. But if they wasn't doing the experiments, then we don't know nothing. We know how mold worked because that was the easiest experiment to do back in grade school. I know how mold works. We know how a volcano works, or at least a replica of a volcano works, because again,
Right,
we've
because
done those.
that's research on research, though.
Exactly,
because we ain't
research on
never.
research.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't never been to an actual
Right.
volcano.
So we
And
don't know if that's really how that shit works, or you know what I'm saying?
exactly. So again, he stated that NASA stated that this information, NASA stated that information, and none of this is real. And again, I told you I've also read some things that NASA said too. I've read articles about these pictures that we see in our test books, the pictures that we see on the internet that NASA pop out or flow out or that you see. None of it is actually how space looks. It's all amplified to make it look more vibrant and more pretty. And
hmm
here's the thing about what we just said, research on research. We read an article that NASA said that. We don't even know if NASA actually said that. We just read an article that states NASA said.
Right.
Again, we can throw all speculations out there. You can say, oh, you don't believe in whatever, or you whatever, however you want to call it. I kind of see it as this, as our belief system is flawed because we believe in it.
Right. Right.
But he goes now. Here's the killing part, where I remember I told you that some people, or often people don't even realize what they're saying themselves. They're not listening to the words that are coming out of their own mouth. because later on in this particular conversation that I was listening to with him, he was stating, talking to the guy, and he was like, "So why don't you still don't believe? Like, why don't you still believe that the Earth is not flat? I mean, it's flat. Why don't you still believe there's video and pictures everywhere that prove that the Earth is flat?" And I'm like, it's these type of niggas right here. Right here. You're confusing confidence with certainty. You're
Yeah.
confident, you're confident that the earth is flat. Hey, cool, be confident. But
Right.
as far as certainty on the earth is flat, you have absolutely zero idea
Right.
whatsoever that the earth is flat. We don't even have we any idea that the earth is not flat,
Right.
but we're
Exactly.
taking pieces of what we were taught in, if you've done any outside of or any self-teaching of yourself, we're taking all of that collective literature and other people's research and implementing it into our beliefs,
Yeah.
or we're leaning towards this more. One of the two. Either we totally believing in it, or we're leaning towards this more, because rational thinking would say, with all the information that we have just collected to come up with the decision to believe in this, states that, I think I'm gonna lean towards this more so than leaning towards that the earth is flat.
Right.
Now, going back to, we don't even listen to what we saying our own self, especially the what do you call it? The certainty people, the people who talk certainty. We don't
Hmm.
even They don't even listen to what they're saying, but they want people to believe them because they're speaking words. Is that, dude?
Right.
You gonna ask this cat, why don't you still believe that the earth is flat, even with all the stuff that I done told you? Why don't you still believe? There's pictures and videos out here that prove that the earth is flat. Why don't you still believe? Nigga, probably because of the same reason why you don't believe the earth is not flat. I
Yeah.
mean, that
Right.
the earth is,
It's
yeah,
it's
it's
round.
not, it's round, because
Right.
there's also videos and pictures to prove that the earth is round. Whether you
Hmm.
got evidence and pictures and stuff that says otherwise, there's both reasons. I mean, they both have the same thing, but yet here you are talking with certainty, and you expect me to believe it because you're talking certainty about the earth being flat, and you're wondering why I still don't believe. Because one, I'm taking in what you're saying, and I'm conflicting that with what I've been taught
Hmm.
and what I've learned on my own. And those same pieces of evidence on the counter side have the same pieces of evidence. That's probably why I still don't believe, because one conversation is not going to change my freaking mind.
Right. If the Earth was flat, wouldn't we be able to fall off this month?
That's one of the biggest questions. That's one of the
Yeah, if it
biggest
fall
questions.
off the face of the Earth, whoa, hold up. You say too close to the mother's edge, huh?
Exactly. You haven't heard, at least I haven't heard any nonfiction literature or documents or anything about anybody's falling off. Because I think that'd be big news.
Man, that'd be huge
I'm,
news, nigga. That'll be even if it only happened one time in history, but and if it was like 200 years ago, but it would be like
hmm
that would be yeah, yeah,
big, big news. And
yeah,
you think if,
big news.
and then here's the certainty or the confidence. I'll say this is confidence. Here's the confidence in me thinking that if one fell, you mean to tell me ain't nobody else failed since this one person failed?
Right.
It's like, you mean to
Yeah,
tell
that
me this
should
is
be
the Jesus
crazy.
of people falling off Earth?
Right. Right.
Jesus. I'm like, what the heck, man? It's like people, we gotta again, it's that certainty and confidence is what's tripping us up and why we're so discombobulated and probably why we have mental issues, period, as a being.
Mm-hmm.
People believing in confident people, or I mean people believing in people who speak certainty versus doing their own research on the people that speak in certainty. I mean, I ain't saying the
Mm-hmm.
guy is wrong. The earth probably is flat. But
Yeah.
again, I don't know.
Right.
Neither nobody we haven't been out of the what we call an atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
to even see it.
Even know the
Not
answer. Yeah.
to even know the answer.
Yeah.
And then here's another thing is that again we talked about this about anybody who's having any opposing sides. The difference between confidence and certainty that I like. One of the differences is that confidence is able to actually listen versus the certainty person because
Mm-hmm.
you can't say that the other party or the opposing party don't have a point or two.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it because again, that's why again a belief system is flawed because again, we don't know that the earth is actually round or oval and we don't know that the earth is flat or not.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they do have some points. I even talked about some of the things I thought about with constellations. They're like, how can the North Star always be in the exact position of what they say the North Star is positioned
Yeah.
all the freaking time? How is these
Mm-hmm.
constellations stationary for
Right.
some reason? It's like
Yeah.
that shouldn't be. I have
Mm-hmm.
never, at least I have never seen a global video where the earth is spinning. I've seen some clouds move, but that can be again a generated program,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but actual video of the earth in space, we should be able to see it spinning from that far distance. We should, whether it's moving slow to our eyes, but it's yet spinning at a very rapid pace.
Right.
Still, the speed that they say the Earth is moving at that distance, we should be able to see some continents getting moving around to the other side of the Earth in some type of distance. But again, I've
True.
never noticed. I've never noticed a video of that. I've
Right.
also Shoot, I meant to do some. I meant to do a little bit of this, but I don't know how oxygen. I mean, how fire actually works. If you suffocate a fire here on Earth, it tends to get put out.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow we got stars. One star called the sun. I mean, why is this particular region in space houseable for fire? Why
True.
is
I
this
get that.
particular why is this particular region of space or distance from space hospitable for atmosphere in a natural another planet? Why our galaxy is here if we supposedly have multiple other galaxies outside of the one that we're living in and housing everything that we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is that particular region in the universe is hospitable for this particular galaxy? And yet, here's the certainty that people talk about is that you expect us not to believe that there's other life forms when there's more than one galaxy, supposedly. That means more than one sun. That means more than one Earth like. More, I mean, how can you say this whole entire universe is, matter of fact, how can you say anything about the entire universe, period?
Research and research.
Yeah, on a certainty level.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, research and research. We They created supposedly these rockets are supposedly fast enough to get through multiple lifetimes on top of each other, distances in order to convey entail to us to know that Pluto is a planet or it used to be a planet?